Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Danda.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji. Hare Krishna devotees, Dandavat Pranam. Welcome to Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Today we are very fortunate to have the association of His Grace Haridev Krishna Prabhu, who will be sharing the nectar from Canto 6, chapter number 1, sloka number 1. We are starting Canto 6 now from today. Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, thank you. Welcome all the devotees for today's
Prabhuji
Bhagavad
has
Gita.
to Prabhuji has to leave at 8 o'clock, so Prabhuji will be finishing the class by then. So we will be having a very brief Q&A session. Sorry, Prabhuji, please go ahead.
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, thank you. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Udire Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nandagopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha Hare Krishna. We'll begin from Canto 6, Chapter 1, the history of the life of Ajamila. We'll read the summary and the shloka, and then we can have brief discussion. So, this is the summary written by Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Summary. Throughout Srimad Bhagavatam, there are 10 subject matters, including creation, subsequent creations of the planetary systems. Shukadev Goswami, the speaker of Srimad Bhagavatam, has already described creation and subsequent creation of the planetary systems in third, fourth, and fifth cantos. Now, in the sixth canto, which consists of 19 chapters, he will describe Poshana, or the protection by the Lord. The first chapter relates the history of Ajamila, who was considered a greatly sinful man, but was liberated when the four order carriers of Vishnu came to rescue him from the hands of the order carriers of Yamaraj. A full description of how he was liberated, having been relieved of the reactions of his sinful life, is given in this chapter. Sinful activities are painful both in this life and in the next. We should know for certain that the cause of all painful life is sinful action. On the path of fruitive work, one certainly commits sinful activities, and therefore, according to the considerations of Karma Kanda, there are different types of atonements that are recommended. Such methods of atonement, however, do not free one from ignorance, which is the root of sinful life. Consequently, one is prone to commit sinful activities even after atonement, which is therefore very inadequate for purification. On the path of jnana marg or speculative knowledge, one becomes free from sinful life by understanding things as they are. Therefore, the acquirement of speculative knowledge is also considered a method of atonement. While performing fruitive activities, one may become free from the actions of sinful life through austerity, penance, celibacy, control of mind and senses, truthfulness, and practice of mystic yoga. By awakening knowledge, one may also neutralize the sinful reactions. Neither of these methods, however, can free one from the tendency to commit sinful activities. By Bhakti Yoga, one can completely avoid the tendency for sinful life. Other methods are not very feasible. Therefore, the Vedic literature concludes that devotional service is more important than methods of Karma Kanda and Jnana Kanda. Only the path of devotional service is auspicious for everyone. Fruitive activities and speculative knowledge cannot independently liberate anyone, but devotional service, independent of karma and jnana, is so potent that one who has fixed his mind at the lotus feet of Krishna, he is guaranteed not to meet the Yamadutas, the order carriers of Yamaraj, even in his dreams. To prove the strength of devotional service, Shukadev Goswami described the history of Ajamila. Ajamila was a resident of Kanya Kubja, modern Kanauj. He was trained by his parents to become a perfect Brahmana by studying the Vedas and following the regulative principles. But because of his past, uh, because of his past, this youthful Brahmana was somehow attracted by a prostitute, and because of her association, he became most fallen and abandoned all regulative principles. Ajamila begot in the womb of prostitute 10 sons, the last of whom was called Narayan. At the time of Ajamila's death, when the order carriers of Yamaraj came to take him, he loudly called the name of Narayana in fear because he was very attached to his youngest son. Thus, he remembered the original Narayan, Lord Vishnu. Although he did not chant the holy name of Narayan completely offenselessly. It acted nevertheless. As soon as he chanted the holy name of Narayan, the order carriers of Lord Vishnu immediately appeared on the scene. A discussion ensued between the order carriers of Lord Vishnu and those of Yamaraj, and by hearing the discussion, Ajamila was also liberated. He could then understand the bad effect of fruitive activities and could also understand how exalted is the process of devotional service. Hare Krishna. This is the summary for the first chapter, and so nicely written by Srila Prabhupada. We'll recite the first sloka, word to word meaning, translation purport, offer prayers, begins small discussion on this. So, first sloka. Shri Parikshit Uvacha निवृत्तिमार्गकथितः आदौ भगवता यथा कर्मयोगफलब्धेन ब्रह्मणा यद् असंश्रुतिः श्रीपरीक्षित उवाच कथितः आदौ भगवता यथा कर्मयोगफलब्धेन ब्रह्मणा यद् असंस्मृतिः श्रीपरीक्षित उवाच निवृत्तिमार्गकटित आदौ भगवता यथा कर्मयोगफलब्धेन ब्रह्मणा यद् असंसृतिः. Word to word meaning. Translation purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Shri Parikshit Uvacha. Maharaj Parikshit said, Nivritti Margaha, the path of liberation. Kat, Katitaha, described, Adau, in the beginning, Bhagavata, by your holiness, Yata, duly, Krama, gradually, Yoga Upalabdena, obtained by yoga process, Brahmana, along with Lord Brahma, after reaching Brahmaloka. Yet, by which way, Asamsritihi, cessation of repetition of birth and death. Translation. Maharaj Parikshit said, O my lord, O Shukadev Goswami, you have already described in the second canto the path of liberation, Nivritti Marga. By following that path, one is certainly elevated gradually to the highest planetary system, Brahmaloka, from which one is promoted to the spiritual world along with Lord Brahma. Thus, one's repetition of birth and death in the material world ceases. Purport. Since Maharaj Parikshit was a Vaishnava, when he heard the description at the end of the fifth canto of the different hellish conditions of life, he was very much concerned with how to liberate the conditioned souls from clutches of Maya and take them back home, back to Godhead. Therefore, he reminded his spiritual master Shukadev Goswami about the Nivritti Marga or the path of liberation which he had described in the second canto. Maharaj Parikshit, who at the time of death was fortunate to have met Shukadev Goswami, inquired from Shukadev Goswami about the path of liberation at that crucial time. Shukadev Goswami very much appreciated his question and congratulated him by saying, Varyan esha te prashna rito lokahitam nripa atmavit sammatah pumsan shrotavyadishu yah paraha. My dear king, your question is glorious because it is very beneficial for all kinds of people. The answer to this question is the prime subject matter for hearing, and it is approved by all transcendentalists. Parikshit Maharaj was astonished that the living entities in the conditional stage do not accept the path of liberation or devotional service. Instead of suffering, instead of suffering in so many hellish conditions. This is the symptom of a Vaishnava. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhuvya evacha. A Vaishnava is an ocean of mercy. Para dukkha dukhi. He is unhappy because of unhappiness of others. Therefore, Parikshit Maharaj, being compassionate towards the conditioned souls suffering in hellish life, suggested that Shukadev Goswami continue describing the path of liberation which he had explained in the beginning of Srimad Bhagavata. The word asamskritihi is very important in this connection. Samsmriti means refers to continuing on the path of birth and death. Asamsriti, on the contrary, means refers to Nivritti Marga, or path of liberation, by which one's birth and death cease and one gradually progresses to Brahmaloka, unless one is a pure devotee who does not care about going to higher planetary systems, in which case one immediately returns home back to Godhead by executing devotional service. Tyaktva deham punarjanma naiti. Maharaj Parikshit was therefore very eager to hear from Shukadev Goswami about the path of liberation for the conditioned souls. According to the opinion of the Acharyas, the word karma yoga falabdena indicates that by first performing karma yoga and then jnana yoga and finally coming to the platform of bhakti yoga, one can be liberated. Bhakti yoga is, however, so powerful that it does not depend on karma or jnana. Bhakti yoga itself is so powerful that even if an impious man with no assets in karma yoga or an illiterate with no assets in jnana yoga can undoubtedly be elevated to the spiritual world if he simply adheres to bhakti yoga. Mamevaishyasi asamshayah. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita 8.7 that by the process of bhakti yoga, one undoubtedly goes back to Godhead, back home to the spiritual world. Yogis, however, instead of directly going to the spiritual world, sometimes want to see other planetary systems, and therefore they ascend to the planetary system where Lord Brahma lives, as indicated here by the word Brahmana. At the time of dissolution, Lord Brahma, along with all inhabitants of Brahmaloka, goes directly to the spiritual world. This is confirmed in the Vedas as follows. Brahmana sahatte sarve samprapte pratisanchare parasyante kritamanah pravishyanti param padam. Because of their exalted position, those who are in Brahmaloka at the time of dissolution go directly back home, back to Godhead, along with Lord Brahma. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Inside prayers. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेव श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणो कविता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नामिने गौरवस्पृशे नमः हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमस्ते तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी श्रीराधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिय वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna. I seek the blessings of all the assembled Vaishnavas before begin to discuss on this shloka. So the background is in the previous chapter, canto. Shukadev Goswami was describing all the hellish planetary systems and uh, for what kind of sinful actions, what kind of hellish planets are prescribed like that. And therefore, in this chapter, uh, Parikshit Maharaj, being very compassionate, as we can see here, mm, uh, first, Parikshit Maharaj is reminding Shukadev Goswami that Nivritti Margaha, mm, the path of liberation. So, we are very fortunate that in this, for this shloka, Srila Prabhupada has spoken four amazing lectures on the same uh, verse. I was just reading them. I would recommend all devotees please go through such amazing realizations. Prabhupada is speaking in all these four lectures. We will take up some nice points from there. On what is this Nivritti mark? So there are two paths, Pravritti marg and Nivritti marg. Pravritti marg means path of enjoyment. Nivritti marg means path of liberation, like that. And so Prabhupada is explaining how in this Pravritti marg, sense enjoyment, people are very mad after sense enjoyment. I will just show you some things directly from Prabhupada's lecture. Prabhupada is saying, but what is this enjoyment? Hmm. This enjoyment, the forms may change, but actually, I'll just show you here. Yes. So Prabhupada is saying uh, here, enjoyment. Everyone is looking for enjoyment. And which is the topmost enjoyment? They are looking for the Maitunadi. En Maitunadi Grihamedi Sukham Hi Tucham. That the topmost enjoyment is the sexual enjoyment. That is what the whole world is going on like that. And then Prabhupada is saying, although humans are looking for enjoyment, but it's actually like doing the same activity. There are different grades of sense gratification, but the point is sense gratification only. For example, cats and dogs, they are also trying to satisfy their senses. They may eat on the street, we may eat in a restaurant, but the activity of eating is one and the same. A cat is attracted to a opposite gender cat. A human is also attracted to the opposite, like that. So, Prabhupada is saying we may have a sexual affair uh, between boy and girl, and the he dog and she dog also, like that. And Prabhupada is giving an example. If we have a very nice food, whether I put that food in a golden pot or in an iron pot, the taste is going to be same. So, uh, just by changing the pot, our taste does not change. Same way, even Prahalad says that as soon as the body is there, the enjoyment is fixed. And the same enjoyment we have been doing in many, many uh, previous lives. Therefore, Prahalad Maharaj also says this pravritti marg or the path of enjoyment is like chewing the chewed. chewing the chewed means what? Uh, when we have some sugar cane, initially when we bite it, there is juice. But after some time, once the juice is over, how much ever we bite, we will not get any taste, rather only pain. So that is what Prahlad is saying, that in different bodies we have tried the same enjoyment, but we think again in this body I will do the same. And just by changing the pot from iron pot to golden pot, we are thinking so much I have advanced. So Prabhupada is uh, saying about the material world. Now, people are saying, I'm eager to go to America, but from America, they'll say, I'm eager to go to heavenly planets. So, even Janaloka, Maharloka, or even the planet of the moon, etc. But again, what is it? Now you are drinking in a golden pot. After some time, you will be given a diamond pot to drink. But ultimately, the taste is same. So this conviction, uh, Prabhupada is trying to drive home that ultimately sense gratification means uh, it is the same. Only the grades or the pots are different, but the quality of the enjoyment is one and the same. And Prabhupada is saying, don't consider this as advancement. Why? Because Krishna says real problems are birth, old age, disease, and death. Why are these the real problems that one needs to address to? Because all other problems are temporary, and some of us may have it, some of us may not have it. For a student, exam is a problem, but for a working person, deadlines for the project is a problem. These are temporary problems, but the real problems are birth, old age, disease, death. Even if we go to the moon planet or the topmost planet, Brahmaloka, we can live for millions of years, but still we have to die, and nobody can save us from the uh, uh, death like that. So this is what is going on. Pravriti mark. I want enjoyment like that. But Krishna conscious means Nivritti Marg like that. And Prabhupada is giving another example in one more lecture on the same shloka. Prabhupada is saying that just see the foolishness of the living entities. This human body is the body where there is so much advanced consciousness, where one can think about spiritual subject matters. But it is like a sandalwood tree. If you take a sandalwood tree and cut it and use for cooking, it is waste. There are so many jungle trees. The jungle trees, which are of no value, you use it for cooking, not the sandalwood tree like that. And then Shastra says, then how to make progress on this Nivritti mark? And Prabhupada is saying, the first thing is Mahat Sevam Dwaram Ahur Vimuktais, especially for Grihastha devotees. The best way is the analogy we hear that the Grihastha ashrama is like a lake or a pond. Uh, and in pond, many a times, what happens? Lot of algae, fungus, all of them can get accumulated. So that means lot of anarthas we can accumulate. Why? Because we are in constant touch with sense gratification, money, materialism. So that is grihastha ashram. But in that pond, there are also, if there are some fishes, if there are fishes, the fishes will eat away all these algae, all the impurities, and keep the pond clean. So that is like the sannyas or the brahmachari ashram, where we invite the sadhus who have completely dedicated their life for serving Krishna. When we regularly invite them to our homes, mahat sevam, and serve them. How do we serve them? Not just by, uh, of course, we also prepare nice, delicious prasadam, but the most important service that we can do for a sadhu is by sitting humbly and submissively and hearing from that person with a deep desire to also implement and transform our lives. Because why have the sadhus uh, given up everything? Because they want to reach out this message of Krishna consciousness to everyone. So this is the first step. inviting sadhus regularly to our home, hearing from them will automatically purify our house. And we also go to the temple to hear from sadhus. So we go to temple and take association. We also invite and serve them. Mahat Seva Dwaram Ahur Vimuktais. This is the first step how one can get freed from or advance in the path of Nivritti Marg, like that Prabhupada is mentioning here. Mahat Seva. And who is a great soul? Now, who is Mahatma? Then Prabhupada is saying, Mahatmanas tumam partha daivim prakriti ashritam bhajante ananya manaso jnatva bhutadim avyayam. All sincere devotees who are uh, bhajante ananya manaso, they are worshipping, serving with full 100% one-pointed attention that way, and they are serving with great determination like that. So he is a Mahatma. So Prabhupada is saying you have to live under somebody. You cannot say I'm independent. That is our constitutional nature. We have to serve someone. But uh, people try to serve dogs, people try to serve country. But when we serve different people, we see even President Nixon, Prabhupada is saying, he was a popular person. But as soon as people didn't like his service, immediately he was dismissed. So this is the position of being a servant of the country also. Even if one is president, one is CEO of a big company, etc., the moment your service is not accepted, you are immediately uh, gone like that. Mm. So that way. So uh, therefore, Pravriti Marg means we are trying to become false master. Nobody is master. We may say I am CEO, I am president, but actually we are all servants only. If they don't like our service, we are thrown away from that position. Like that. So we are for us as devotees, when that is why we have these nice terms. You are a servant leader. You may be a leader, but still we are always servants. The moment we think I am master, then Krishna will say, "Okay, I don't think you are the right servant who can guide my devotees." And even our spiritual services may sometimes be lost. So this mood of servant. Uh, uh, Being master in material world is so high. Even when we come to Krishna consciousness, when we take up services, roles, responsibilities, position, that Ishvara Bhav comes, and then we think, oh, I am the master, I am in charge of this, and we try to dominate. Then Krishna very mercifully uh, may sometimes tell us, no, you have to improve your consciousness, your servant only. So like that. So that is Krishna's kindness. Hmm. Actually, we are all not just servant of outside people, even servant of our senses. And what is the nature of this serving these senses? These senses demand kama, krodha, lobha, mada, matsarya, moha, all of them. But they never keep us happy. Prabhupada in this lecture later on says, there's a wonderful shloka. I think Rupa Goswami also quotes this, that we have been serving these anarthas for so many years. Generally, in this world, uh, if we serve for a lot of time, people uh, are forced to take retirement. Government says, okay, you have served us so much, now you can retire. We'll give you pension, like that. But the senses, the mind, the anarthas, how much ever we serve. Now, if we say, I've served you so much, can I be retired? They don't leave us. And while serving them also, we are never made happy because greed, lust, anger, all of these, they don't make the person happy. They make the person more in anxiety only. So while serving, we are not happy. And after we serve, when we say, I want to retire, they are not giving us retirement. So Prabhupada says, if somebody has faithfully served, Prabhupada is talking about a materialistic family life. He has faithfully served the wife, children, etc. Until 80 years he has served. Now, if he tells his wife, at least last 20 years, let me dedicate my life, I will go to ISKCON temple and stay full time and serve there. The wife will say, nothing doing, you continue serving me like that. So, this is the materialistic thing. We serve them, but they are never satisfied. But by serving Mahatmas, one can actually ascend the path of Nivritti Marg, like that. And in this purport, Prabhupada is also saying about the compassionate nature of Parikshit Maharaj, or Vaishnavas in general. Vaishnavas are Vancha Kalpa Taru. Vyasya Kripa Sindhuge Evacha. They are oceans of mercy. They are Para Dukkha Dukhi. Parikshit Maharaj was certainly not afraid of his own going to hell, which is uh, uh, some people may think maybe Parikshit was afraid. That is why he was asking how to be freed from hell. No, there was no question. He was such a righteous ruler. Kali could not enter his kingdom. The Pandavas were such great devotees that Krishna was there always as the order carrier for them. So that was the relationship. And we hear from the Shastras when somebody is a very intimate devotee of Krishna, their 21 generations are liberated. So there's no question of Parikshit Maharaj having any fear, but he's asking out of compassion for all of us. That way. And Prabhupada is also mentioning here uh, that how uh, uh, initially the general path is that one takes karma yoga, then eventually goes to jnana yoga, ashtanga, and then finally the bhakti yoga. So gradually one may progress, but bhakti yoga is so powerful that it can straight away uh, uh, take him to the topmost planet. So, what are the challenges in karma yoga, jnana yoga, etc.? In karma, it is said yagna, dana, tapa, yagya, dana, tapa. All these are part of karma yoga. One can do sacrifices, one can do austerity, tapasya, mm, uh, and one can also give charity. So all these will purify. Purify what? When we do yagya dan tapa, it purifies us of the sinful reactions that is going to come. Let us say I have accumulated wealth by wrong means. I am supposed to suffer for that. But now, if it's just like if I've stolen something, if I voluntarily surrender to the police and give it back, then I'm relieved of suffering. Same way, if I've stolen somebody else's property, now I realize I have done something wrong. I give dan, I give charity of my property. Then all that happens by yajna, dan, tapa is that the suffering that I was supposed to get for my wrong actions, the sinful reactions, are purified. But the problem is the sinful tendencies are not purified. Even in jnana yoga, the same thing. In jnana yoga, we understand that what is truth, what is false. But the previous vasanas, samskaras, vrittis, they are also deep that it again sprouts up. While reading the summary, we saw Ajamila was doing his daily rituals very sincerely, and but Prabhupada says, but because of his previous conditionings, when he saw that prostitute and the low class man, both of them embracing and enjoying, those vasanas again sprouted. So that is the problem with jnana, ashtanga. We know so many examples how Vishwamitra was engaged in tapasya for so many years. Still, immediately he got attracted to uh, Urvashi, Ramba, etc. Like that, or felt he got disturbed by his in his tapasya, and both of them came two times, right? So we understand that jnana, dhyana, ashtanga, all of them, they all help us to purify to some extent the sinful reactions, but the desires may still be there. And the way to get rid of those desires is there is a very nice shloka. न कामकर्म बीजानां यस्य चेतसि संभवः वासुदेवैकनिलयः स वै भागवतोत्तमः. न कामकर्म बीजानां. The kama karma bija will not sprout or will not grow into a tree and produce fruits. For whom? Nakama karma bijana yasya chetasi sambhavaha. For one whose consciousness is such that Vasudevaika nilayaha. Uh, his consciousness is like he has made Vasudev as his home. Generally, Nilayaha, home. Uh, we always think about our home because we are very attached to it. It is the place where we feel most sheltered, most love, most care, etc. Right? So, a pure devotee has made Vasudev as his home. That means he finds shelter, love, care, happiness, comfort, everything only in thinking about Vasudev, and he's constantly thinking about him. For such a person, the karma karma bija will not sprout at all, like that. So otherwise, all these other paths, it's like there are many karma phala hanging. They will cut off all the phala and say, okay, you don't have to suffer them. But because the tree is still there, the seeds are there, the root is there, again after some time it will give the fruits, like that. So this is what is said. And one other thing, uh, mm, I mean, the purport Prabhupada is saying is sometimes the Ashtanga yogis, although they have a chance that they can directly go back to the spiritual world after having purified their subtle body, uh, still they may have some eagerness to go and visit other planetary systems. But for a real devotee, he is not interested in any of them. He directly goes back to this one. See, here Prabhupada is saying, uh, unless one is a pure devotee who does not care about going to the higher planetary systems, all others generally they may go to Brahma Loka, and from there on they may eventually uh, go back to the spiritual world, like that. So, uh, and how not bhakti yoga is completely independent. However sinful a person was, the whole history of Ajamila is a proof that it is not that one has to accumulate lot of piety uh, and then only bhakti will act. No, Ajamila was very sinful, but bhakti was so powerful that without any assets of karma yoga or jnana yoga, there are so many people who completely are ignorant, but still they have advanced in bhakti yoga, like that. So, and then in the end, Prabhupada is giving a reference where it is said all the people from Brahmaloka they ascend to the spiritual world directly along with Brahma. So after this life, that was so there is a reference given here. So I would uh, request all devotees to please go through these four lectures on Srimad Bhagavatam. So nicely, Prabhupada is speaking about this. See, this is the thing I was mentioning also. Kamadinam katitaha na phalita dur durnideshas tesham mai na karuna jata na kripa na poshantihi, like that. So it said, I have served my senses in the form of lusty desires and anger. Uh, uh, I have served lifelong, but neither they are satisfied nor am I satisfied. And they are not very merciful. I have served up to 80 years. Now, if I want to retire, they will not agree. Like that. So, see, Gandhi gave lifelong service according to his uh, own. Hitler gave lifelong service. Napoleon gave lifelong service, but their ultimate end was regrettable. So, this is serving anybody in this material world. So, we have to take lesson from this verse. and let us not serve them, rather serve Krishna. Like that, Prabhupada is encouraging all of us. We can pray to the lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada and all acharyas mm, that we take advantage of this message of Srimad Bhagavatam and uh, uh, accept. Prabhupada was asked, uh, how can we please you, Prabhupada? Once, many times, Prabhupada said the same thing. Please accept whatever I am giving you fully and then share it with others like that. So we can pray to Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada has given us such a nice opportunity of, we read in Krishna book also, no? All this yajna, dana, tapa. Sometimes that story of Nirga, there was a king who who gave lot of charity to Brahmanas, but while giving charity, he gave some number of cows to one Brahmana. He also did not know one cow from that entire lot actually came out and joined another group. And when he gave the second group of cows to another Brahmana, this first Brahmana counted the cows and he saw one cow was less. So he cursed the king. O king, you had promised me to give this many cows, but you have taken back one cow and you have lied to me. So I curse you to become a lizard like that. So this is the uh, people are mm, very, very hard, struggling how to atone for my sins by not purifying the heart, but by doing easy process of, okay, I will give dan, I will give, uh, I will do some tapasya like that. But Krishna is also in that way, ye yatamam prapadyante. When we go to Krishna with a business attitude, then Krishna also reciprocates accordingly. How? Uh, uh, when there is a business dealing, every word is carefully weighed, right? Anything that is spoken, written, it's all like we sign an agreement. If one condition in that agreement is not fulfilled, immediately there is penalty like that. Why? Because it's a business transaction. Same way, when we say, I want to get rid of my sins by these easy methods, we're trying to have a business with Krishna. So then Krishna also takes care of all these details. Same way we see while uh, uh, who uh, Twashta uh, was trying to uh, beget a son to kill Indra. So he was doing a karma kanda sacrifice. So there, when he pronounced the Vedic mantra incorrectly, a small mistake in the chant, instead of getting Vritrasur, who will be a son who can kill Indra, he got a son who will be killed by Indra. One small mistake in pronunciation was taken seriously. Why? Because there it was a business dealing. But on the other hand, we see a beautiful shloka which says, Murko vadati Vishnaya, Dhiro vadati Vishnave, Ubayortu samam punyam, Bhavagrahi Janardana. Where it says, a foolish person may say Vishnaya. He may say Keshavaya, Narayanaya, Madhavaya, Govindaya, Vishnaya. But an intelligent person will say it's not Vishnaya, it is Vishnave. But both of them, Ubayortu Samam Punyam, Bhavagrahi Janardana. But if their intentions are with devotion, then both of them will get the same punya because God is Bhavagrahi. So for a devotee, uh, God is not very eager on the small mistakes unintentionally done. They are forgiven because He sees more of the intention what they have. But for an outsider who only wants to get rid of the sinful reactions by easy method, then all these minute things are taken. And needless to say, in Kali Yuga, there are no qualified priests. Many times people think I will do some Shani Shanti, Rahu Shanti, Ketu Shanti, get rid of all of these troubles. But uh, we saw. that when there are no qualified people, small mistakes will not give any tangible result. Sometimes it may also give opposite result. So rather, one can peacefully uh, take shelter of removing the sinful desires from the heart by practicing bhakti. Everything else will be taken care of. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you very much, devotees. Please forgive me if I spoke something beyond my realization. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Guruji, for giving a very nice overview about this specific chapter and also beautifully describing how devotees devotion is different from other margas. Thank you, Prabhuji. I would request the devotees to share their comments or questions, please.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranams. Thanks for the wonderful class, Prabhu. So, this proclivity to commit sinful reactions comes from our past sins. So, everybody should take to Bhakti Yoga, no, Prabhu. Otherwise, they will commit. So, that is
Yes,
the reason we have to go and preach in the schools and colleges. No, Prabhu, I'm
yes,
thinking like that.
yes, yes, Mataji. Mm,
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Dandavat
Hare
Pranams.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, Dandavat Pranams. Thanks for the wonderful class, Prabhu. Prabhu, you told about four purports for Srila Prabhupada we have to read. Can you just share that?
Yes, for lectures, Prabhupada has given. I will just share. You can just search in this. There is one website, prabhupadvani.org. In that, all Prabhupada lectures are there. So in that sixth canto, first chapter, first sloka. Like, there are four verses. I mean, four lectures Prabhupada has spoken. Put it on the Zoom also. This is one lecture. So Prabhupada has spoken two lectures in Melbourne on back-to-back days and two lectures in Hawaii uh, in 1975 and 1976 actually. Uh, uh, Very nice uh, realizations Prabhupada is sharing.
Mataji, we will play this lecture on this Ekadashi day, upcoming Saturday. So,
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranams.
Prabhu, you were telling about the atonement.
Atonement means prayashchittam, like
I
all
see.
this dana, tapa, yajna. So that is like, oh, I'm suffering now because I have done something wrong. So I will do some dana, tapa, like that. So we may do that and try to get rid of suffering because we voluntarily have spent our money. So suffering won't come. But we may be inclined to do the same mistake again. So in that way, after some time, so lifelong we just have to go on doing dana tapa, but again we'll be committing. So Parikshit Maharaj gives an example of an elephant. Sometimes elephant will take bath nicely, but after taking bath, immediately what he'll do, he'll put all mud on him. So what is the use of such a bath like that? So we get rid of sins, again we commit sins. Again we get rid, again we commit.
But you also said that it purifies us from past karma also. Yagna dana tapa.
Yes, it purifies us of the sinful reactions, but not the tendencies.
Mm. The tendencies is in us that we have to correct ourselves, right, Prabhu?
And that can come when we take shelter of Bhakti Yoga.
Bhakti.
Because when we surrender to Krishna, Krishna will help, as it is said. No? Srinvatam Swatata Krishna, Punya Shravana Kirtana, Hridayantasto hi abhadrani, vidunoti suhritsatam. As soon as we hear Krishna's message, Krishna says, uh, uh, Hridayantasto hi abhadrani. Whatever is not required or troublesome to the heart, vidunoti, I will personally clean it for you in your heart once you take shelter.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you for the wonderful class. Dandavat Pranam.
Shall we end?
If there are no questions, we can end today's session with Vaishnava Pranam. Thank you very much, Prabhuji, once again.
Thank you.
Kalpatarubhyasya kripasindhubhya patitranam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, जगत गुरु श्री प्रभुपाद की जय, कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, जय गौर प्रेमानंद हरि हरि।
Hari Hari.
Dandavat Pranam.
I'll end the Zoom session now. Thank you, devotees. We will meet tomorrow.